What up, y'all, and welcome to Papyrus Motorsports Park for the 13th race in the 2023 NRSL Jerky Pro Truck Series. On pole for the first time in his Truck Series career is Benjamin Ice. Comes into this race 33rd in the point standings, so looking for a good run here towards the end of the year. Stephen Waters in the 16 is to his right. Adam Flickinger and second in the points, Winnie Calhoun, are in row number 2. Sky Commons and Ryan Brommer both off great runs in row 3. Brommer with the win at Memphis. Row 4 is a previous winner here at this track, Brad Lewis, the 2021 winner, with Gene Sanford to his right. And rounding out the top 10 is Usman Hamid and Chris Harvey. Your points leader, Peter Onjak, starting there in 12th. In total, Chevrolet has won 4 of the 5 races run here so far. Fitzwater with the win in 2018. Bobo Jones drove the number 2 to a win here in 2019. Donovan Cage in 2020. Brad Lewis, the lone Ford win in 2021. And PJ Vidal drove the number 37 Chevy to victory lane here 1 year ago. Fuel strategy could be a thing here today. 32 lap race, so if teams elect to try and stretch it 10-11 laps on a given stint, they might just be able to make it here on 2 pit stops. If they don't, well, they're in for an extra stop, and they're likely taking themselves out of a chance to win the race. The field will get rolling. We have had a different driver win a majority of these races this year. The only multi-time winners on the season thus far have been Peter Onjak, Donovan Cage, and Winnie Calhoun. So Will, Reggie Fogelman, Ryan Brommer, Jessica Strauss, James Ellison, Sam Young, Delon Ibrahimian. Could any of them get win number 2 on the season here today? As we come down the front straightaway, 32 laps of action on the high-speed banked road course of Papyrus Motorsports Park. We are green here in Massachusetts. Now, draft, very crucial in both of the Jerky Pro Truck Series and the Digital Storm Cup Series at this track to stay at the front of the field. However, the trucks have a lot more drag on them. So you'll notice here in the truck race, the field's going to stay a lot more bunched up, a lot more super speedway-esque than what we'll see in the Cup race tomorrow afternoon, as they're going to go 3 wide, maybe even some 4 wide here through the right-hander. This is the only right-hand corner on the track. You can see from the spectator angle, it leads into an uphill section into this tight left-hander, and you can see them getting all sorts of slidey as they are going to go 4 wide. Peter Onjak on the very top of that. Strauss, Jack James, Donovan Cage also in the midst of this 4 wide battle right here. Getting kind of tight here through the final corner. To see Onjak falling back a good amount. Same with Dale Johnson in the 20. But right here, this is where the draft really comes into play as they hit upwards of 195 mile an hour into turn number 1. See Fogelman looking to the inside of Pat Johnson. You're pretty much flat out there through turn 1. But then as you get to turn number 2, got to crack the throttle just a wee bit. Later in the race, when you have better tires than someone behind you, it's a good corner to make a defensive maneuver on as they go through turn 3, which is also flat out. And then you have turn 4 here and turn 5 meant to slow these trucks down. You can see about 155 to 160 through turn number 4. And then as they head off into turn number 5, they'll go even slower, 140, maybe less once the tire wear really kicks in. That leads them onto the highest speed section of the track here. You are pretty much full throttle from here out of turn 5 all the way through turn 6 and then through turn 1 until you get to turn 2 where you have to lift once again. You see Waters with Brommer, Winnie Calhoun, Benjamin Ice in line. Adam Flickinger, final truck in the top 5. You see Brommer and Calhoun trying to work together. And Calhoun looking for another great race. Could she get win number 3 on the year here today? Is the championship fight really picking up? On Jack with a 25-point lead over Calhoun, 39 over Fogelman, 50 over Brommer, 51 over Strauss, 53 over Gene Sanford, 57 over Ellison and Adam Flickinger, and then 59 over Sam Young. Sky Commons 10th in the points, 60 points back. And after today, just 2 races remain, so you've got to be within 118 points to have a mathematical shot at it. If you can break on a tiebreaker for wins, you could... Oh, actually, yeah, you do have to be 118 back, even to break on a tie. If not to break on a tie, you got to be 116 points back. As Braxton will make it 3 wide behind teammate Benjamin Ice. Going to use that draft, maybe make a move here on his teammate as they've started to die down from 3 wide to more just side-by-side racing. And they will be racing it out like this for a long time until they get to that first round of pit stops. Brommer going to make it a 3 wide move for the lead. Ice gets wiggly, gets out of shape, falls back. Braxton, though, going to be able to hold off Brommer as they come down the hill here to turn number 4. Hunter Braxton is in the race lead. Taking a look at the rear of the field, you got Delon Ibrahimian back here, not having a good going at all. Came into this race 16th in the points, 104 points back, needing to gain points, a lot of points to stay in the fight here for the championship. You've also got James Ellison back here, Enzo Nareza, Max Anderson. As we move forward into the top 30. There's the truck that won this race last year, now driven by Dennis Moore. Sam Young currently in 24th. Peter Onjak currently, I believe, falling out of the top 20 now, as Colin Cropley and Josh King have made it by the 83. As we move back towards the front, you got Lucas Catano, Jessica Strauss, top 20. Same with Adam Flickinger, Zachary DeLello, trying to move towards the top 10 after he was running top 10 at Memphis, and then terrible pit stop took him out of a sure top 10. So trying to get a top 10 here today. So look at those trying to cut the lead down in the points on the 83 of Peter Onjak, Jack James, Winnie Calhoun, Donovan Cage trying to stay in it. As Kate Anderson is currently a race leader, we are closing in on the first round of pit stops. Here we go. Lap 9 coming to 10 from the race lead. Hunter Braxton's going to bring down Winnie Calhoun, Reggie Fogelman, Lucas Catano, and more. Sky Commons in this mix. Now, Papyrus is very known for the accordion effect that we see on every racetrack. Coming into pit road speed here, 55 miles an hour, and you really got to slam the brakes here. So the accordion effect is somewhat amplified. So if you are not in the first 3 to 5 trucks, heck, if you're not in the first 3 trucks coming down pit road, you lose a ton of time on the racetrack. And draft, of course, very important here. So you need that draft when you come out of pit road. See, Hunter Braxton will come out first, followed by Calhoun, followed by Fogelman. All 3 of these should have draft on one another. See, Fogelman actually getting a bit of a better exit than Calhoun due to where his pit stall was. Catano, Cropley look like they're going to be in draft, but can't really see the same for Commons, Monaco, and so forth. Now, those drivers pit on lap 9 coming to 10, so they're going to have to stretch it these next 2 runs, or they can say goodbye to making it on a 2-stopper, as Brad Lewis is going to lead a ton of drivers in here on lap number 10. Archibald Buttersworth will stay out. See Peter Onjak going to lose a ton of time here. Same with Enzo Nareza and more. So the further back you are, the more time you are losing. You see a lot of these trucks not even really doing pit road speed coming in, especially due to where their pit stalls are. See, Sam Young had a terrible Q effort. He's one of the first pit stalls. Same with James Ellison. So Buttersworth was the only truck to stay out. Now he's going to lose some time here because he's without any draft, but pitting on lap 11 coming to 12, as Lewis will be the first one out of pit road, and you see how bad that first pit stall is here under green flag stops. Now that first pit stall is not terrible if you lead the field coming into pit road, but if you're not leading the field coming into pit road, those first 3 to 5 pit stalls are terrible for coming back out on the track under green flag conditions. As you see, ooh, a little contact with DeLello and Commons. But Benjamin Ice going to lose a ton of time as Chris Harvey and Brad Lewis come out right in the main pack. And now Buttersworth, will he pit for sure this time? Bye. And that will be the case now. All those drivers that pit on lap 10 coming to 11, if they go 11 laps on this next stint, they should be able to make it to the finish on that second pit stop. But if they don't, the lap you're looking at would be, I believe, 20 coming to 21. If you pit on lap 19 or earlier, I doubt you're going to be able to make it on that last stop. You're going to have to pit one more time. You see Buttersworth with one of the first pit stalls. Now, it is known here at this racetrack over the history that it is almost preferable to start at the back. If you have one of those first 5 pit stalls, you're able to just send it in right for your pit stall. And if you're in the draft most of the running, you can save that lap or 2 on fuel you need versus being at the front leading. And that has led to some fuel strategy winners here in the past, or just drivers that have driven up through the field because of that first pit stall. 2 such winners in the Digital Storm Cup Series, Zach Rogers and John Nunn, 2017-2018, both started in the final row in the Cup race. And they won because of where that pit stall was. And in recent years here in Jerky Pro, if you qualify at the back, you're able to save that extra lap of gas. So we'll have to see how this works out for Buttersworth in the end. But I believe by staying out, he did gain some positions, as current race leader is the 25 of Reggie Fogelman. Once again, taking a look at the rear of the field, seeing who's back here. You got Usman Hamid, Dale Johnson, 42nd, 41st, Elon Ibrahimium. James Ellison still not doing hot here this afternoon. Unless we get a huge crash that warrants a emergency yellow, that is going to be stapled into their finishing result. Jessica Strauss, how about Peter Onjak in 32nd? This is what everyone wants to see, is the 83 back here. But they don't want to be back here with him. Sam Young, Jack James, Adam Flickinger, they do not want to be back here with him, as you see Buttersworth there in 23rd. Pole sitter Benjamin Ice just inside the top 20, now just outside of it. Gene Sanford also up here near the front. Ryan Brommer currently inside the top 10, along with Donovan Cage, Zachary DeLello, Ron Bishop. Now remember, Ron Bishop almost won the race here. It was either last year or in 2021. Or 2021 might have been RJ Bishop. And blew a tire coming out of turn number 5. So looking at our current top 7, it's Lucas Catano, Winnie Calhoun, Chris Harvey, Brad Lewis, Reggie Fogelman, Colin Cropley, and Hunter Braxton. So now out of these drivers, Brad Lewis has won here before. Reggie Fogelman, Winnie Calhoun, and Lucas Catano have all won in their career. So Chris Harvey, Hunter Braxton, Colin Cropley, they are looking for career win number 1 here this afternoon. But it's ultimately going to depend on how the pit strategy plays out. Speaking of the pit strategy, here we go. Lap 16, seeing a ton of drivers come down here early. These are likely drivers that know they cannot make it on a two-stopper. You got Cropley down, Braxton, Fulgham, Calhoun, Catano, Sky Commons. All on pit road here, lap 16 to 17. So we'll likely see them pit again around maybe 24, 25. So all of these drivers are going to have to pit again. And now you got to wonder who else is going to have to pit, as now Brad Lewis leads the race. Got more drivers diving down pit road here. Lap 18 to 19. Brittany Turner, Josh King, Jessica Strauss, Daniel Brown in the 48. Dale Johnson in the 20. He pit a lap ago. Usman Hamid yet to pit, I believe. I think he's just been without draft. Winnie Calhoun currently leads the group that has pit. Now, if you're Winnie Calhoun and these other drivers that have pit, you're hoping a ton of drivers can't make it on a two-stopper. There you see Dale Johnson. He's way back. So right now you got Brad Lewis, Zachary DeLello, Chris Harvey, Donovan Cage, Kate Anderson, Ryan Brommer at the top 6, Pat Johnson on his lonesome in 7th. You see Archibald Buttersworth now up inside the top 10. So this is going to be the important lap here. If you pit on this lap, you are guaranteeing that you will likely be pitting a third final time with probably around 5 to go or so. And they are checking up. Lewis is going to bring them in. Will anyone stay out here? Pat Johnson's going to go another lap, but he'll be by himself. Buttersworth, Corey Riggs, Peter Onjak's going to stay out. That is huge for the championship here. Pensacola's next week. Don't forget that. If you can salvage a good finish here by making it on gas on one less pit stop, you are going to be really happy if you get caught up in a wreck at Pensacola. Now, Pat Johnson's by himself here, so he's going to be burning it dry a bit. But Riggs and Onjak, they have a draft with Buttersworth. Now, we know Buttersworth went 11 the first time. And he's only been out here for, this is his 9th lap. So curious if he will go another lap, if anyone else will try and stretch it an 11th lap on this run to try and seal the deal. Meaningless fastest lap of the race, by the way, belongs to the 10 of Brittany Turner. Wow, 3/10 faster than the next one up on the leaderboard. All right, so you would think that some of these drivers should be able to stretch at 12 laps. But so it looks like Pat Johnson might try to do that, but the other 3 are going to stay out. Riggs and Onjak both make a move. Onjak pulls back and will push the 44 by the 41. And we'll see if these drivers pit this lap. Moment of truth here. Buttersworth's going to go 11-11. Riggs and Onjak come to pit road. So Buttersworth likely going to sacrifice some time here, but he's going to have the best tires and is surely going to make it here on this two-stop strategy. Now, leading the pack of drivers that we believe will all have to pit a third time is the 14 of Monaco. Got Ron Bishop, Sky Commons, Fulgham, Braxton, Cropley, Kyler Anderson, Davidson, Calhoun, Catano, DeLello, Brad Lewis, and Chris Harvey all here. Donovan Cage and Kate Anderson are right at the edge. They are all going to pass by those that have just come to pit road. So we see the 83 championship leader, Peter Onjak, going to come out. He's going to join this group. Now, these guys are 3 wide. This could get sketchy. Onjak is just up the road enough to where he's not merging into a 3-wide situation. That usually spells disaster here. Onjak will be passed by these guys as Archibald Buttersworth, I believe, will be pinning this time by. Current battle for the lead is on between Brad Lewis, Hunter Braxton, and some others. So the pack is a lot bigger this time, but now we believe most of these drivers are going to have to pit. Corey Riggs is 29th. Pat Johnson sits 17th, way up the road. Then you got Buttersworth 39th and Onjak 31st, as Ron Bishop's going to be the first to pit. He brings down Cropley. He brings down Josh King. So these drivers going to try and undercut with some draft together. Daniel Brown will come in as well. So now we're going to be really watching to see who comes in, as it looks like Dale Johnson in the 20 actually already pit for his final stop. So this is going to get really interesting here. Who can make it? Who cannot? Very next lap by, we're going to see a ton of drivers peel off here. Brad Lewis, Hunter Braxton, Chris Harvey, Sky Commons, Ryan Brommer, and some others. Reggie Folgeman's in here. Jessica Strauss. See, Archibald Buttersworth is just at the edge of the draft here with those in front of him. If he had lost it, he would have been a sitting duck out of the running, but he is right here. So now if we believe he can make it, he is racing the 83 and the 44, who are right up here in this draft. Now, if Buttersworth had lost this draft, because he was tailing it for a while, now he has managed to catch up due to the tire fall off. But if he had lost the draft, he would have been out of it, because the 83 and the 44 would have at least had themselves once everyone else pits. Let's see here. Race leader is now the 6 of Donovan Cage. We saw him win here back in 2020. But I don't know if he's got enough fuel to win it here today. Let's see who comes to pit road here, coming to 6 to go. We'll see Saden Davidson stay out. Corey Riggs will stay out. Archibald Buttersworth and Peter Onjak all stay out. Now, Pat Johnson pit. The 12 of Pat Johnson, he just pit. So I'm very curious that he did not decide to try and stretch it longer. I don't know if they underfueled it or what the case was, but Pat Johnson just straight up forfeited trying to go 12 laps on a tank of fuel. So perhaps it was not viable at all. And now this is an attempt to maybe try to stay in the running for at least maybe somewhat of a decent finish. Davidson will not stretch it much longer. He'll pit here, coming to 5 to go. That'll leave it between the 44, the 41, and the 83. As you see Onjak struggling to keep up in the draft here right now. Is he getting anything from these guys? He is. He's getting a little bit. These two are side by side, and that's slowing them down. See, 178, 179. Onjak, 181, 182. He's trying to close the distance. Staying single file is going to help him a lot here through turn 2. Remember, the 83-44, they pit on the same lap. They pit on 21 coming to 22. Buttersworth pit 22 coming to 23. Now, we know Buttersworth should be able to make it. So the question here is, how many laps can you make it without the draft that you used to make it, as long as you did? And I would say the 41's in a much safer boat compared to the 44 and the 83. This is the battle for what'll be potentially as high as 4th. Brad Lewis, Hunter Braxton, Colin Cropley, Kyler Anderson, Monaco, Josh King, Ron Bishop, Kate Anderson, DeLello Folgeman, Pat Johnson, Winnie Calhoun, and so forth. As these drivers are likely going to be trying to minimize the damage here in the case that Peter Onjak and the 83 can make it. As Corey Riggs is going to pit here coming to 4 to go. I don't know if Peter Onjak can make it. So that gives the lead to Buttersworth with 4 to go. And that's a long time to be up here in the lead without any draft. You might burn the extra fuel you saved. Buttersworth, though, we would like to think is in a safe enough position here after he went 11-11 and now only has to go 10 on this last stint. Peter Onjak, though, I'm not so sure. The one benefit for him right now is he is in the draft, and he does not really need to beat Buttersworth for this win right now. Buttersworth comes into this thing 202 points back, already eliminated from the championship hunt. So Buttersworth is just trying to get a great finish, looking for what would be his first career win in his rookie season. He's got a top 5 and 2 top 10s on the year so far. Has been qualifying very well, but just hasn't been putting the finishes together. And the fuel strategy win has delivered time and time again here at this track. As we've seen in 3 of 5 instances, a rookie has won this race. Could this be the 4th time in 6 races? But don't count out championship leader Peter Onjak. He's the championship leader for a reason. 3 laps to go. Hearing Corey Riggs did do a splash and go. Onjak going to put a move on Buttersworth. Here in turn 2, they are going to be even side by side. So they head down the hill through turn 3, going into turn 4. You see the deficit back to 3rd place. Hunter Braxton is 25 seconds. So the only way 3rd on back would catch these two is if these two pit. Buttersworth holding on to the lead for now. Let's take a look back here for 3rd. Points really valuable here if you finish 3rd, 4th, or 5th. 51 for 3rd, 48 for 4th, 45 for 5th, and 42 for 6th. Down 2 points position to 11th. So I misspoke the other week where I said it was 1 per position up through the top 10. It's actually 2 points per position. But so drivers that are up here that could really use the top 5. 23 of Winnie Calhoun, 25 of Reggie Fogelman, 24 Ryan Brommer. None of those drivers are up towards the front. There's with 2 laps to go. Onjak continues to stay out. And Onjak could be heading to Pensacola with a chance to clinch the championship a race early. With where he's running, there are going to be a lot of drivers that were over a race back, I think, that might get eliminated from contention following this race. 118 points is the magic number if you can tie break it on wins. If you can't, 116 is the magic number. And Onjak's a driver with 2 wins on the season. So unless you can find a way to win the last 2 races of the year, you are not going to tie break him. Coming to the white flag, Onjak stays out again. Committing at this point. Can he find the way by Archibald Buttersworth? So far, that 1 lap tire difference has allowed Buttersworth to hold on to the lead. Onjak almost clear here through turn 1. Side by side through turn 2, you see Onjak getting tight on the door of Buttersworth. That's going to check him up. Down the hill to turn 4. Buttersworth is clear in the race lead. 3rd place is 21 seconds back. Buttersworth pulling away through the slower corners of the racetrack. Into turn 5. There you can see in the distance going through turn 2. the rest of the field. Into the heavy draft zone of turn 6. Can Onjack get any kind of run to maybe make a last-second move? Or does the 41 have this locked up? Coming on to the front straightaway. Onjack is not going to get their first career win for Archibald Buttersworth in the number 41. And that'll be the second time a Ford has won here in the Jerky Pro Truck Series. And it's also the second time it'll be a Stewart-Haas racing machine. So the Stewart-Haas racing trucks seem to know their way around this racetrack. Peter Onjack will come home in second place. So a great day for the championship leader. He's going to gain a ton of points on his immediate competition. Cade Anderson third, Brad Lewis fourth, Hunter Braxton fifth, Monaco, Josh King, Kyler Anderson, DeLello, Colin Cropley, the top 10. As Winnie Calhoun, second in the points, will finish in 11th. So that was the next highest driver in the point standings coming in. You see Fogelman 14th, Brommer 20th, Gene Sanford 21st, Sam Young 23rd, Donovan Cage 26th, eliminated from championship contention. Sky Commons 28th, Jessica Strauss 30th, Adam Flickinger 32nd, Jack James 33rd, Nereza 34th, Ibrahimium 36th, Ellison 37th. Looks like Max Anderson and the 98 of David Dixon ran into some issues. They finished a lap down and 2 laps down respectively. But yeah, that'll do it. I might have missed an accident, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna check. If you don't see an accident clip after this clip, you'll be seeing the results clip. So yeah, if there is no accident, here come your official race results and point standings with 2 races to go. If not, here comes a replay. So it's not an accident, but right here coming the 2 to go for David Dixon. Engine expires on the 98. And thankfully pit road was right here, so he was able to pull down and bring it to pit road. But a already dismal day that Dixon was having, and he brought it down pit road. Now Max Anderson was apparently short on fuel because he came down pit road for a 4th time. And that's just a double whammy for ThorSport. But I mean, Anderson, he was already 41st. So couldn't really gain anything anyway. Well, here come your official race results and point standings now, as this man right here in the 41 was your race winner here, first time in the Jerky Pro Truck Series for Archibald Buttersworth. And I'll see y'all tomorrow for the Digital Storm Cup Series race. Peace out, y'all.